Jab is the key.
We talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. We talking about boxing. Just absolutely boxing. Boxing. Just absolutely boxing.
Jab is the key. Jab is the key. Jab is the key.
All right, y'all, what's going on? Welcome back to another Jab podcast. It's episode 89. I'm Combo Breaker 99.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Boxing P.
Yeah, man, but let's get into this, man. Let's get in this boxing talk like we always do. First up, let's talk about this Manny and AB fight from last Saturday.
Oh,
you
boy.
know, there's a lot of questions I got to ask you, man. You know, just the serious questions, but
Yeah.
you know, also this Saturday we got Keith Thurman making his return against Josesito Lopez. Question I got about him is, what do you think this fight's going to lead to? And you think he's looking for rounds, or you think he's trying to make a statement? So before we get into that, man, let's talk a little bit about last weekend in general, man. First off, I gotta say, you know, shout out to the Friday fights with Demetrius Andrade.
Yeah.
You know, he had a little stay active fight against that Akakov. You know, they say Akakov, he had gave Billy Joe Saunders trouble.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but you know, Demetrius Andrade, he was able to stop him.
Okay.
The referee, he kind of stepped in at a time in the 12th round whenever he shouldn't have stepped in, but you know, it still counts as a stoppage. I mean,
Yeah.
he was outclassing him, but he never really had Akakov like seriously hurt. You know, Badu Jack, you would definitely understand that fight as a stoppage versus this one.
Absolutely.
But yeah, definitely shout out to Andre. You know, it's supposed to lead to a Billy Joe Saunders fight.
That's cool, and I just want to say I'm glad to see him in the mix of things. I know he ran into a little bit of legal trouble, and I thought that might have been some issues, so I'm glad to see he's staying busy.
Yeah, because right when he got the ball rolling, that came up.
Yeah,
you know,
I was like, here we go.
I know. So I'm glad, you know, they got that taken care of. And shout out to Amanda Serrano. She's a 7-division world champion.
Yes, sir.
Moved down from 140 to 115. You know, knocked her opponent out in like 35 seconds. So
That's
she
a
got
crazy
her
weight cut, man. 140 to 115.
140 to 115.
Wow.
Man. She became like Floyd Mayweather went down to Rigondeaux. So,
Wow.
you know, that's how, you know, because I saw her weigh in and her pictures and she was stripping it down. And, you know, she still looked good, but, you know, I could tell the weight cut, you know, fighters never want to admit it, but it can still be, it can take a toll on them, man.
Absolutely.
You know,
It definitely takes a toll, man, regardless of what they say. You know, it takes a toll.
But how they soldier through it, you know, that's the real.
Yeah.
That's real,
Definitely.
man. But let's jump on this Saturday card. I know you wanted to talk a little bit about the Marcus Brown and Badu Jack fight, man, because that was a real war, man.
That was it was a good fight, a really good fight. Shout out to Marcus Brown. He went in there and did what he had to do. He's been like in the shadows for a while, so this was kind of like, to me, I considered it like a breakout fight for him, and he definitely stepped up to the plate. But the overall story of the fight, you know, is the Badu Jack. I mean, halfway through the fight, it was an accidental clash of heads and opened up a gash on his head. But this was halfway through the fight, so the second half of the fight, that cut got worked on with jabs and right hands and all kinds of other punches or whatever, and wound up just opening up to a really grotesque cut, and blood was everywhere pouring, and it just, you know, when we think of a fighter, we think of a guy who's a warrior, a tough guy, and Badu Jack just embodied everything that a fighter, a true champion, is Saturday night in my eyes. You know, I mean, it was a very gruesome cut, and anybody in the arena would have understood him not coming out to continue this fight, but he went on for 12 rounds. He lost his title, but the fact that he fought on through such a nasty cut when he really didn't have to, I mean, his stock just really went up with me. It really just showed the heart of a true champion and the warrior that Badu Jack is. You know what I mean? I'm not the biggest Badu Jack fan, but stuff like that makes me a fan of him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I was telling you earlier, when a fighter, whether I am a fan or not, when they're able to do something or pull something out of their heart just to keep going, it always makes me give them credit, you know, just as much as a fighter that I am a fan of. You know, I have to give them, you know, I have to give them their respect. And what he was doing that night was just, you know, to me, it was like, hey, why ain't you stopping? You know, it was making me think that because, like I said, the Akakov fight on Friday, he had a smaller cut, but the referee found the need to stop it. You know, and he was taking less punishment, but that referee needed to stop it. But, you know, I think the referee in the Badu Jack fight, he saw something in Badu Jack was like, shit, the way he looked, I ain't gonna stop it. You know, Tony Meeks, you know, I give him his credit. He's a good referee, but he had to look like, you know, I gotta let him continue. You know, he's on a mission. You know, and that's when, you know, referees, they kind of remember that, you know, they are fighters. You know, and they are going to suffer bad cuts. You know, and they need to keep going, especially on like a championship fight. You know.
Well, since you bring that up, it was a little conversation that I heard some other people talking about as far as refereeing. A ref has to make a split-second decision in the midst of chaos, and he has to do the best he can do, you know, and those dealing with all those variables, you know. I mean, it's a very tough thing to do, Ant. So people were talking about the T.J. Dillashaw and Henry Cejudo fight, and they were saying how the ref should have took in consideration that T.J., you know, put in a lot of work. He lost all his weight. But then, does a referee have that luxury of computing all that stuff in a split second, Ant?
No.
You know, does he have to say? Does he have the ability to say, "Well, it's a championship fight. He really cut a lot"? I mean, we have to be realistic about that too. You know, a ref has a split second to make a decision to help somebody. He's not calling the fight to make you lose. He's calling the fight to save the other fighter. You know what I mean? People may not see it that way. You know, they think, oh, he stopped the fight. He made me lose. No, he's protecting somebody. Yeah. Maybe you. So, does a referee have that luxury, or is that something that they should be required to do? You know what I mean? I mean, because it's, I mean, like I said, you're in chaos. You're in the middle of a fight.
Right.
You know what I mean?
To me, it just all comes down to, you know, their best judgment, you know, because, I mean, the next best thing to that would be a way for a referee to read a fighter's mind, because the minute he's in the fight, if there's a way they can read it, and then when he gets all blacked out and he gets blacked out, that's when he knows when to stop it. But the best thing they can do is look in the fighter's eyes and make that call, you know. Right. And I think that going back to even to that Dillashaw fight, it's like, if the referee sees something there, he's like, oh, his life is really in danger.
Exactly, and that's what it boils down to.
That's what it boils down to. Even like when we look at the Adonis Stevenson fight versus Bosdick, you know, I think the referee, he made the call he could at the time, but that fight, there was no blood there, but you could really see that he was hurt versus somebody like Badu Jack. Yeah. Badu Jack was bleeding, but you know, as fighters, they got to fight through blood. You know, you can't fight through a concussion, you know, when you're about to go down. You can't fight through a seizure or a coma, you know. Right. They have to stop that when they see those signs of it, you know. Those signs. So I think that as far as a referee, you know, they just have to make that judgment on what they feel is best, you know, and that's by looking directly into the fighter's eyes. Because like when I say Tony Weeks, he looked at Badu Jack, he could just see bloody eyes, you know, focused eyes, though, you know, bloody focused, a bloody focused fighter that still could continue, you know? Yeah. But, yeah, man, for Marcus Brown, I just feel like this was a fight, like you said, too, a fight that showed it was time, it's his time, you know? Yeah. He showed he got the skills to beat a Badu Jack, and I think he's ready for you know, a unification fight. What about you, man? You know, with Vosdick?
Well, let me ask you, do you think the cut changed the fight?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Because to be honest, like, Marcus Brown did a really good job, but
that is a good question.
The attention was on Badu Jack bleeding and still fighting. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
He was getting more attention because his face, he's pouring and he's still fighting. You know, Marcus Brown was doing his thing. He was doing a really good job, but the attention kind of was on Badu Jack because his face was full of blood.
Mm-hmm. So do you mean, do you think that headbutt messed up Badu Jack's game plan? Is that what
yeah, like, I mean, because some people thought that. Some people thought that the cut made the difference in the fight. I mean, because we got to remember, Badu Jack starts slow. Yeah, he's a slow starter. Yeah. So, you know, by the time he really gets started, he got cut, and then it was something else that he had to deal with.
Yeah, I think to a certain extent it did. You know, but again, for somebody like Badu Jack, then that would have should have been his time to kind of step it up. You know, if I got this blood pouring, I gotta end the fight. You know, that should have been the time when he said, this blood is coming down, I got to take him out. You know, I got to really go in there and take him out and not try to make 12 rounds because he's going to take advantage of me. Yeah. And he did, you know. I mean, we've seen in the past guys like Hopkins, you know, Hopkins versus Winky Wright, you know, there was a headbutt. He had a bad cut.
Right.
And did that affect, you know, same question, did that affect their fight? It could have, you know, but Bernard Hopkins, you know, he took advantage of the situation. And that's the thing, we just never know, like, certain little things are going to come into play. No fight's ever going to be, you know, perfect where we can just get skill for skill.
You know, but the thing about by that being such a bad cut, and we know he had blood in his eyes. We know his vision was impaired. Yeah. You know, we know that for a fact. It wasn't, you know, cut on the side where we know that. I don't know what he was seeing that night. I'd be curious to ask him, what could you see that night? Because, you know, he's got them sunken in eyes, and I mean, all you saw was just blood.
Just blood, right. I would definitely say, yeah, it definitely it did have an effect on the win. You know, I still think Marcus Brown would have won anyway, but as far as like how dominant it was, I think that it was the blood. Okay. You know, I do think it was definitely the blood, and like I said, whenever little things like that happen, as a veteran of the game, you know, you have to go ahead and jump on it and take it, you know. So
and think
because Marcus Brown, like he said after the interview, you know, he was like, they asked about the blood, and he was like, you know, he kept leading with his head, and that's what he got, you know. And then everybody kind of booed, but I understand what he mean. He wasn't trying to be mean, you know. He was just saying that, you know, if you step in with your head, you know, you're gonna get hit.
That can happen. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what usually happens when you got a southpaw and an orthodox.
Right, it happens. You know what I mean? It was just one of those things that happened. It was unfortunate, you know, but it does happen. But like you say, I mean, definitely not taking anything away from Marcus Brown. He definitely stepped in and did what he was supposed to do. But in the same token, Badu Jack, I mean, I can't take nothing away from him either because, you know, even in the loss, you know, even in the defeat, he's a winner. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because after this performance, you know, I can't say like some people, they're going to say, oh, Badu Jack, he ain't got it. You know, he ain't never going to win no title. I can't judge it off this fight. No. Because he did the best thing he could do was to just stay in this fight, you know, and try to find a way to win if there was one. But, you know, like we said, those little things happen like a headbutt, you know, so he deserves another chance. You know,
yeah, definitely. And the thing about Badu, it's not like he's a knockout. I mean, none of his fights are spectacular. You know what I mean? This is what he does, and he didn't get knocked out. You know what I mean? He went for 12 rounds with a very gruesome cut. I mean, of course he deserves another big fight or another fight. You know what I mean? It's not over for him. You know?
Yeah, definitely not, man. So definitely you want to see him back. And, you know, Marcus Brown, I'm sure he probably going to do like a maybe stay busy fight, you know, just off top. Because I know unless they can get that Vosdick fight, you know, but that, you know, that fight ain't going to be easy. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think he showed that next level, but, you know, it's only going to get tougher from him. Man.
Absolutely. I mean,
get tougher,
he didn't really solidify me, and I mean, he beat Badu Jack. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Badu Jack fan, and then you add the cut in, you know, it's still a lot to be seen about Marcus Brown.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like he's just one step under Bivol and them. Bivol and Better Bill.
Yeah.
None of these guys are really proven either. Because they all haven't faced each other. But I think when he get in that mix and beat one of them, then he'll take their position.
Then we'll see. And the thing about I like him is he game. He from New York. He typical New York cat. He game. He's loud. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and the name votes that came out, he was like, "Hey, I want that."
He wasn't.
It wasn't no speak to my manager.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
So yeah, man. Definitely shout out to both of them, man. Like I said, we just like to see warriors come in there. We don't like to see no quitting them.
Yeah.
But here we go, man. Let's move on to this Manny and AB fight, man. First question I got for you on this fight, man. What'd you think, man? You think this was a good fight, man?
I'm trying to think, Ant, before I answer. It was a good fight as far as the imagination. You know what I'm saying? Because
I know what you mean, yeah.
In my head, just thinking about all the different scenarios, it was interesting, but I mean, the actual fight, it kind of went, the way I was explaining to people, and it's simple math. It's simple math. If you throw one punch around and I throw 10 punches around and the fight goes 12 rounds, I mean, that's simple math.
Yeah.
And that's kind of how, I took it. I mean, the previous episode, I actually thought that, he would get overwhelmed in the championship rounds. And, I mean, he almost got overwhelmed before the championship rounds, but it wound up going 12 rounds. And just what I expected, simple math. I mean, if Manny's hands are busy, that's scoring points. If your hands are not, you're not letting your hands go, you're not scoring points.
Exactly.
As simple as that,
Mm-hmm. I agree with that, man, because even the math in the fight, the math before the fight, like we be telling people all the time, is like you got to look at who wants it more, factor in what they done in the past, what they did to get where they are, and like what road are they really trying to, take. Manny, he's over here trying to reestablish himself, to get them bigger checks, and that's all he need as far as his motivation. He gonna fight for him. Right. See, somebody like AB, he want the big checks, but he ain't really gonna fight for him, Right. He got other plans, like he got other antics to get him there,
Right.
So when you put both of those together, it makes for an interesting matchup, You got two guys on both sides, on opposite sides that enjoy the lights, but one of them he kind of works for him, and the other one he's just playing the role, playing
Absolutely.
the game. And when you put them together, it can make for an interesting fight. But for me, I thought it was a good matchup, but it didn't turn out to be the fight I thought it would be. But it was still good on a level of
anticipation,
and like the wild card fight, like I always call it, because I felt like this wasn't really like a welterweight fight like Spence and Garcia. Now, that fight sounds exciting. It could be exciting. See, this one sounded exciting, but we didn't know where AB was going to show up. We know when it's Spence and Garcia who's going to show up. They both going to come.
Both going to show up, yeah.
Right, but with this one, it was good on the level of somebody like Manny. Like, if he has to retire, this would be a good fight to go out on, as far as like getting that last level fight. He did what he could as far as a 40-year-old Manny could do.
Yeah.
We definitely ain't going to see the Manny from 2009,
Absolutely.
So I feel like it was good. It was a good fight on that aspect. But as far as like my score for the fight, it was definitely like 10 rounds to 2 at most, like 11 rounds to 1. What'd you have it, man?
About 10-2.
I was being nice too.
Yeah, 10-2. Yeah.
I think round 4 and 5 were like the only rounds I could give to AB, man. Yeah, but
possibly,
know what I'm saying? But I don't really see like what his game plan was in this fight, man.
So let me ask you this though: round 11, when he looked in Kevin Cunningham's face and said, "Did I win that round?" And Kevin Cunningham said, "Yeah, but you're moving, but you need to be letting your hands go." Why would he tell him that you won a round if you didn't let your hands go? Because you notice the last 2 rounds, AB was on the bike like he thought that he won. You know what I'm saying? You know, somebody who thinks they're well ahead, you know, the last 2 rounds, they might get on the bike. So I was curious when he asked everyone, did I win that round? Did I win that round? And he was like, he wasn't sure.
Right.
Did I win that round? Did I win that round? He said, yeah, you won that round, but you need to be moving and letting your hands go. I'm thinking that wasn't really the best advice to give him, because I don't think he won that round on the bike.
That was a good catch. I didn't catch that.
You didn't catch that in round 11?
I missed that.
Round 11.
He asked like that.
Round 11.
I didn't.
He was looking up and Kevin. He said, I won that round, right? I won that round. You know, like, he wasn't sure. Yeah.
Okay.
If you get a chance to go back and peep that and let me know what you got out of that. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was 11th round when he came and sat down. He was on the bike the whole 11th round. He said, yeah, you know you won that round. I'm thinking, why would he tell me he won that round and he didn't really throw anything? He was on the bike. You know what I mean? But
yeah, that's crazy. What were they getting, like the feeling that they were ahead?
I don't know. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't understand what his game plan was in it. Like, you seen what guys in the past they'd have to do to nullify somebody like Manny Pacquiao, and he wasn't doing any of that to nullify him, you know?
Exactly. The whole fight, they tell him, let your hands go. He did that 1 or 2 rounds. You know, he would start off a round and then stop doing it. You know what I mean? So...
And you could see what would happen when he did let his hands go. He would touch Pacquiao. He was touching him. That's what I'm saying. Like, if he would have sat down on his punches, he probably could have got a knockout. Because even like the uppercut, he hit him a couple times. And like at 140, when he used to throw that uppercut, he used to knock people out with it. Yeah. And you got Manny. Like I said, Manny wasn't really doing anything spectacular in this fight.
No, and it surprised me. I thought he would have been like more smarter, but like you say, Manny, what he does, he used to. I mean, he's used to being in wars, getting touched, but at this stage in the game, I didn't think he would be taking a type of risk like that. You know, yeah, getting touched by a bigger guy.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man.
And that's why I say it kind of all goes back to that fighting the wrong style. You know what I mean? Like, if he would have been more in the pocket on Manny and like set the counter, he would have knocked him out. You know, but he's sitting back, laying back, thinking he could slip and roll and counter. But by the time he tried to slip 4 or 5 punches, 2 of them hit him and he rocked. You know, remember in round 7, that was like, I thought that was about it. When he like shelled up a Maidana, it was worse than the Maidana. I thought like when he put his hands over, he was. And
then what round was it when he caught him? Manny caught him with the left hook, and that was straight on the chin. Yeah. It was straight on. I just watched it again today. It was a perfect shot on the chin. Big. I mean, one thing about AB, and if we can't say nothing else, the boy got a chin.
His chin.
Yeah, the boy got a chin and on
exactly his chin is.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. It's definitely a 10, man. His 10 is definitely a 10.
We got to give him that.
All day. That's all we could give him, man. But when he took that shot, I was kind of like, he's going to get stopped soon, because the way he looked after he took the shot, he just kind of was like, okay. Then the next round, he went back into motion, looking at the clock. You see him looking at the clock.
And that's another thing.
Yeah.
People brought up, why are you looking at, when you're looking at the clock, what does that mean, when the fighter's looking at the clock?
I know when I was in class, I used to look at the clock. I was ready to go.
I was ready to go.
And
Floyd watches the clock, but when he's watching the clock, he's always ahead. He's always winning the fight.
Yeah,
you know, he's watching the clock for a different reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he probably just looking to see what I'm going to do within this time.
You know, the AB kept watching the clock, and people like, yo, you need to be letting your hands go and not worry about the clock.
That's the thing about AB, man. It's like when he gets to, you know, when he gets into any fight, it's like in his mindset, like what he thinks is really happening. You know what I mean? He thinks it's physically happening. Now it's like he's not making it come out for real, like as far as action. It's like, what do you call it when a person's actually imagining himself in there doing it, just daydreaming?
Yeah, I forget some type of dream.
Yeah.
I can't think of the name of it right now.
Like when people say, what are the miracles they say whenever you think of something, it's going to happen?
It's going to happen, yeah.
But you got to do it to make it happen.
You got to do it, brother.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying with him. He has to do it. And he wasn't doing it, man. Yeah. So this question, man, does he have a solid argument that he won? Can he make a single argument that he won?
My thing isn't absolutely not, but you would have been surprised, the blogs after that fight. some people were saying he got robbed.
Robbed, I saw. Yeah.
So, I mean, how they came to that conclusion, I will never understand. But it's just interesting that some people actually saw that being a robbery. Not it was a close fight, but a robbery. I mean, a robbery means you got stuck up with a gun, so you got something took from you. You know what I mean?
Something you worked hard for,
yeah.
You lost just like that.
I didn't see that.
I didn't see that, man.
I didn't see that.
That's why. What is in his mind that he was seeing that said, "Oh, I won every round." And when he talked to Jim Gray, you see how Jim Gray approached
Shut him down.
Jim Gray was
Shut
like,
him down.
and you like how Jim Gray, when he finished with Pacquiao, he had that look like, oh, here I go. Yeah. He was walking.
He knew
like,
it. He was like,
I got a G up.
You know, and then this Joe would say, well, if I was fighting you, I'd be 7-0. Now think, you know, because people would say, well, Floyd used to get into it. No. Larry Merchant said if he was 10 years younger, he would kick Floyd ass. Floyd said you wouldn't do shit. He never said I would fight a commentator. He never would talk crazy like that. It's two different lingos, man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. He didn't start that confrontation where he was like, I'll whoop your ass. He said it to him.
He said it to him.
So he's came back with it. But like,
but he didn't even say he said you wouldn't do shit. He just said I'll whoop your ass. You know, of course I would. You know what I mean? He didn't say that. But for Adrien Broner to I mean, kind of throw out a threat at Jim Gray, that's not smart, dude. It was like, come on, man.
It's not, man. Especially like the dude Jim Gray. Yeah, they can say some crazy things. Commentators can say some crazy things, but his eyes were on the same fight that we were all looking at, man. And then when he called him out and said, "You only landed or threw 8 punches this round," and he goes, "Oh, that means you against me." How does that mean against you?
I'm just stating facts.
He stated facts right then. It wasn't like he said AB sucks. That's his opinion, you know.
But that's the guilt. He already knew it was coming from Jim Gray. He already knew it was coming, and I mean, he was just being defensive about me. We know AB what he do. You know what I'm saying? We knew what he was going to do.
And this goes into what I was going to say about that whole thing with his argument. Like, I really don't think he felt he won, man.
He know he didn't, man.
He didn't. Like I said earlier, I feel like this is just a movie role, and this is his role where he's still playing that guy. Like, when the camera came over there, he was like, I got to say something. I got to say something to get my hustle on. You know what I mean? I got to get them views. I got to get them World Star Instagram views. Got to keep it pumping because everybody's going to make memes. Everybody's going to go home on Instagram and make reaction videos about me. All of that.
All the stuff he had talked. All the stuff he had talked pre-fight, he had to think of something to say, and that was the only thing he could come up with. I won that fight. You know what I'm saying? When he knew I was, ain't a scratch on my face. Okay, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean you want to fight because you ain't got a scratch on your face. He know, and I'm sure, I know he had to feel a little ashamed and embarrassed. You almost got stopped twice. You almost got knocked out twice. How did you win the fight? You never hurt Manny.
All he could say was, you know, I was slipping, I was touching him.
But not enough. Yeah, not enough, bro.
So when he said that to me, when he just said that, it was kind of like I told you, I feel like he's riding that boxing and WWE line where he wants to play the heel.
Well, somebody made a good point. They said, what's next for AB? And they said WWE. I'd never even considered that, but I mean...
I already heard a rumor. You want to know what's next for him? Danny Garcia.
Really?
That's a rumor. Late summer, you know. That's a rumor, man.
Another fight for him to fall short on.
Yeah, you know.
And I had to see that before I believe it, and because I really believe after Saturday his stock going to drop. I don't care what the pay-per-view numbers did. People saying, "Oh, he know what he doing," but you have to win. You had to win, eh? I mean, I'm not saying he won't get another fight, but he won't be another main event. That was pay-per-view. He was a main event.
He was a main event. His
first pay-per-view. I mean, come on, man.
Which again, like, didn't deserve. You know, he didn't deserve it. It wasn't like we said, oh, he fought his way up to this.
To a pay-per-view.
Up to a pay-per-view. It was just like, no, he's riding off Manny's coattails on this one. But again, man, like, I think people are getting to the point where they're getting tired of even coming out to see him lose. You know how people used to come to see a fight or lose, get their ass kicked.
Well, like me and somebody had that conversation. People paid to see Floyd lose because he never lost.
Yep.
People not going to pay to see you lose when you've been losing.
Mm-hmm.
That only lasts so long. People are only going to keep paying to see you lose for so long. You know what I mean? Because each time they hoping that something happens. You know what I mean? We already seen you take L's. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we hoping every time they hoping this is going to be the time that he does something, and it's not happening. So how many times are people going to keep buying into that?
Yeah, because we got people who are giving him chances. They keep coming out saying, like, you guys, you know, I know they saying, this is the fight. This is the one where he's got he's going to piece it together. He's going to beat him. And then there's guys that saying, I'm just coming to see his ass get whooped. Yeah. But, you know, like you said, we already seen him do that.
We already seen that. We never seen that from Floyd. So that's a ticket.
That's the ticket with Floyd.
That's a ticket with Floyd. I mean, we see him get knocked out or lose. That's a ticket. Right. But that's not a ticket with you, bro.
It's not, because, like, even these other people that are giving you these chances, they're going to get tired of that sooner or later. So, do you think this is the last time people are going to really do it now? Because, I mean, this is the peak, man. What was it? Look, Jesse Vargas, Mikey Garcia, Pacquiao. Where do you go down from there?
Yeah. I mean, where you going to go higher?
Go down from there.
Where you going to go higher than Pacquiao?
You ain't going to get no Mayweather, nothing like that. So
I can't remember who it was, if it was Roy Jones or it was another blog that I saw, but they were just like bringing up some interesting points about AB real quick. You know, I mean, and not just about AB. He's not the first fighter we've seen in like fights that will seem to not let their hands go. And whoever it was, they said, made something, made a statement that made me think. And they said that, you know, AB, when he gets into these elite fights, he's not confident of his skill set. He's not confident, and that's what keeps him from letting his hands go. You know, if it's a guy that he can bully, or then he'll, you know how a bully will do. If it's a guy, you're gonna go throw 100 punches. But if it's a guy you ain't too sure about, it does something different to you.
That's true.
It does something different to you. So, you know, Floyd Mayweather, who's a very confident fighter, you know, because it's the thing, a guy can act confident but not really be confident. I mean, AB, he acts confident, but don't forget he was in the car posting a gun talking about suicide too. That's not the talk of a confident person, that, you know what I'm saying? So just because somebody talks confident doesn't really mean that they are confident or mentally strong. So I don't know. It could be something there that he's really not fully invested in his skills the way he was, you know, back when he was performing. You know what I mean? Because think, man, if you get in there, and you say, "Damn, what's going on? I thought I had this, but
it's harder than I thought.
It's harder than I thought. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm not as good as I thought. So I thought it was an interesting point that the guy brought up, because we wonder that, and we see fights, we be like that. I mean, from local to professional fights, we say, well, man, why ain't this guy letting us help? Man, let your hands go. That's all you got to do. But it's something that happens in the ring that makes a guy not let his hands go. I don't know what it is, but, you know, we kind of seen that Saturday night on a huge stage. Yeah. A guy not letting his hands go when everybody around him was telling him that fight night before the fight, yo, you can win this fight, but you gotta. I know he heard that a million times. You don't think so, Ant?
I think, he definitely has. I mean, everybody from the fans are saying it, and so, you know, his trainer was saying it. His trainer was saying in the Mikey Garcia fight, you know, he was like, you can do this.
Let your hands go.
Let your hands go. But if he was never that confident, you know, what was it for his trainers and the people behind him to not say, hey, we need to really break down on this and, you know, crack this, man. Let's do this. Do you think it's like Emmanuel Stewart says, sometimes guys are gym fighters. You think it's because he performs to that level in the gym, and then when fight night comes, he clams up? You think that's why?
I mean, it could be because you know,
because it probably ain't the trainer's fault. You know, the trainer's going to push you so far.
I don't think it's that. I think it's something in his head. You know, because in the gym thing is intimate, it's small. You know,
everybody's known.
It's family.
You can let go.
Yeah, more family. It's a more comfortable setting. And just think, if you do get knocked out, it's not on the jumbotron. You know what I'm saying? It's not on TV screens across America. So
and the opposite, you're sparring guys you're comfortable to beat up on, so you're confident.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know, it's not like you in there fighting a guy. Oh man, they brought him in today. They brought a punching bag in there for
Exactly.
you for the most part during that day. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of different things that can have a guy in different spaces. I mean, but like we always said about Floyd, I mean, on the big stage under the big lights and all this, he always knows how to perform, and it's a lot performing under the big lights.
Yeah, it definitely is, because, you know, we've heard it time and time again, like, some guys, they want to get used to that lights. That's why you seen, like, even on, like, the shows, The Contender, the guy used to walk to the ring when, you know, the venue was closed. You know, they stand in the ring, they
just
walk
get that
there,
feel.
just
Yeah,
to get the
exactly.
feel, you know, to be
Absolutely.
like, this is where I'm going to be later, you know, except it's going to be brighter, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So they kind of get that feel of it. But with Broner, I think it's just something so far beyond that, because he plays up to the camera. You know, he plays up to it well as this, you know, I've heard some people say like a jester, you know, because he's being this other act, but it's not the way we want to see him, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's borderline. Like I told another guy, they're not laughing with Adrien Broner, they're laughing at him. It's a difference.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So, like you say, you being a jester, you being, you know, you tap dancing. You know what I'm saying? And people are not laughing with you; they're laughing at you. And at the end of the day, this is a scenario that he found himself all alone once the money's gone and a little bit of fame is gone. Adrien Broner is by himself because all that stuff is, since you know. Is money sensitive? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
While the fame and all that stuff is there, that stuff is there. But once the money and fame is gone, then that stuff is gone.
It's gone, man. That's what one of the things I always say is like the difference between him and the difference between Floyd. A lot of people, they love Floyd or they hate him, but Floyd always going to have some ground to stand on. Like, there's always going to be some people that can look up to him.
Absolutely.
You know, you might not like some of the personal things he did, but he's done so many things in the game where he's still boxing.
Yeah.
You know, he said it himself one time. There's boxing, and then there's Floyd Mayweather. You know what I mean?
And that's real because
Yeah.
it's no person on the world that can't watch this man work out and get motivated. It's no person on now. You might his personal life, this that what he that's different, but it's no man in the world who can watch this man work out and say he don't work hard and not be motivated. You watch him jump rope. You watch him on the ad wheel. You watch him do the stuff that he did. You watch him work in the mitts. You're gonna get motivated.
Shoot, or he was pumping that jab on that heavy
Popping that
bag.
jab,
I'd be
man.
trying to do that, you
Come
know.
on, man.
I'd be
Popping
trying
that
to get
jab.
that.
So
just watching.
you can't take that away from him.
Yeah.
You can't take that away from him. His work ethic is there.
So everything could close down on Floyd. Like I said, people could leave him and shut him out, but he's still gonna be Floyd. There's always gonna be some type of aura around him where people have to come back to him, you know.
Exactly.
And he made himself that way. But like Broner, like we said, he's making himself as this guy that you're being laughed at.
Yeah.
And sooner or later, people are gonna get tired of that.
Is that? I mean, think about it. His resume so far, would that even qualify him for the Hall of Fame?
Who, Broner?
Yeah.
No.
Because Manny, he's in there. Floyd, they're in there already. They're solidified.
They done so much, you know, besides just, like I said before, just winning world titles in multiple divisions. There's got to be more to it, you know. There has to be more ground to stand on. I mean, I don't know if the Hall of Fame has a book where it says you have to win this many titles to qualify, you know.
Yeah.
But maybe he did it just for that. Or backtracking real quick, I got another question. Like, do you think, back to Broner's skill, do you think there was a point in his career where he just said that these checks are nice, I think I'm good, I'm going to stay on this level? Now that I did win these world titles, I'm comfortable, I'm going to just keep doing what I do and be this entertainment guy. Do you think there was a point where he did that?
Well, psychologically, a person can get content and say, I'm cool with this.
Because think about it, money's nice on that level.
Yeah. I mean, he getting paydays. He getting paydays.
But it's one thing for a guy to be getting knocked out, come back and fight, get knocked out, come back and fight, get knocked out, versus a guy who talks a big game, talks a lot of trash, gets his ass whooped, comes back again, gets his ass whooped, not learning a lesson. You know, there's kind of a difference there.
There's a big difference.
Because say the guy who's getting knocked out, going back to him, he could actually be training hard. You know, he could be training hard, you know, getting back in there, but he could just be getting caught.
Yeah,
you know, but he's actually fighting his ass off.
Exactly.
You know, he's coming to fight his ass
He
off.
could come in there and be letting his hands go. I mean, you let your hands go, you're open to getting hit. He could be, you know, trying to press the action and could be getting clipped, you know.
And people might be standing with him because, you know, he's coming to put on the performance that we came to see, you know.
Yeah, because even that, a person going out on the shield is always respectable.
Yeah.
A person going, man, I'm going out here balls to the wall. I just let it fly, and he caught me, and that was that. I mean, that's way more respectable than quitting or not letting your hands go, getting pummeled on for 12 rounds. You know what I mean? People respect you going out on your shield all day long. You know what I'm saying?
But when you got a guy who's in the wrong game, you know, making theatrics of this thing, you know, like maybe you should be a stand-up comedian. You know, maybe you should be teamed with Kevin Hart or something, because it's like you coming off with that type of vibe where, you know, it's like a boxing comedy movie, you know, you're not really coming in there where we can ever take you seriously. You know, I've looked at the weigh-in, look at his training, like nothing in him really ever makes me want, is making me, I want to see him do good, but he's never really changing his attitude, you know.
And I mean, I see him more as a persona than a fighter, and to be honest, you know, I see him more as a persona. I mean, it's easy to see him in the rap world, on stage rapping, here doing a million other things besides boxing.
Yeah, because boxing,
you know what I'm saying?
You know, boxers, there's boxers without personas, but sometimes when boxers are that confident, they can come with a persona. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then they'll add that act to it. You know, you got an Ali who, you know, can bring another aura with them. You know, that personality, because he
got the skills to back it up.
He got the skills to back it up, but like. His skills, like I always say, his talent never caught up with his fame. You know, he went to Instagram and became this big thing, but the talent never caught up. Right. So when he goes to perform, he's busy being this guy, but he's too busy being this guy. So when he get in the danger realm, which is the fight, he can't back it up. You know.
Yeah. And how long will the fans support something like that? Now, we always talk about how AJ could let the belts go, and he probably could fight in the UK for the rest of his life,
right? You
know, for his career. Adrien, but that's not the same thing for him. You know, AJ is in a particular space where something like that could work for him. You know, he got the looks, he got the everything that it takes to relinquish the belt and still just stay in the UK and get big paydays fighting guys. You know what I mean? Where's AB going to go?
Yeah,
he can't go to the UK.
He can't.
You know what I'm saying?
Because he can't even get it here, because the difference between him and AJ is because, AJ ain't coming to get his ass whooped. You know, AJ has the mind frame where I'm not coming to get my ass whooped. You know, I know that I'm something that everybody has to, you know, put their money into. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean,
everybody's kind of making money off Broner, but at the same time, AJ, they making money off him, but I got to get my money too. You know?
And AJ, I don't see it just as a check. He doing this for a check. You know what I mean? He getting nice checks too, but he still seem like, you know, it's some fight in him. You know what I mean? I mean, especially since all the accolades he getting, he like, yo, shit, I gotta keep this going. You know what I'm saying?
It's not like back to the Broner thing where it's like, oh, I'm making these, I'm good. Maybe I could just settle here. You know, He's just gonna keep getting his until the wheels fall off. But AJ, it's like AJ, his could go higher. You know, he knows his could go higher, so he knows his worth more so than somebody like Broner, man.
Yeah.
But as far as Broner, man, like I said, there's a rumor of Danny Garcia. Like, what is really next for him, man?
It's really, really hard to say, and I mean, you would hate to see him wind up being a gatekeeper for 147. You know what I mean? With so much promise and so much enthusiasm, all the stuff he brings to the table. But I mean, you got to win. Eh? What else can I say? If this sport is based on winning, and the guy is not winning, it's not second place in boxing. It's not third place in boxing. It's one winner, one loser. You know what I'm saying? So, it's really hard for me to say at this point, because if you're not going to commit to a Pacquiao fight, are you going to commit to a Danny Garcia fight? And
Yeah.
I mean, Pacquiao, it don't really get no bigger than that, but Mayweather. That's the only higher you can get than Manny right now.
That's
I mean, status wise, legend. I mean, Manny, he's not the Manny he was, but
would anybody want to see that, right?
Yeah, I mean, and just what he stands for. You know what I mean? I mean, he's a guaranteed Hall of Famer. The things he's accomplished in his career, he's an 8-time world champion.
8-time world, yeah.
So, I mean, this dude, he's validated. And
that goes back to him just kind of being given this fight. You know what I mean? He was just kind of given this fight just to kind of be fed to Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah.
You know, as bad as he kept putting it out there saying, "Oh, I'm going to win this fight. I want it bad because they keep looking past me, looking towards Floyd, but I'm gonna stop that." You know, that was all talk too. You know, so they just kind of put him in there to put him back into that realm. But looking at Manny now, man, what's next for him? I don't know, because there was rumors about his retina. I heard it got scratched, and then somebody said it was actually damaged where it might force him to retire. So, to me, that's kind of just like a sign there to kind of retire. What you think?
Probably, you know what I'm saying? Manny beat Adrien Broner, but Manny, we seen a lot of slippage in Manny. We seen a 40-year-old Manny, and you add a torn retina or a possible torn retina to the mix. I mean, that ended Sugar Ray Leonard's career. That ended Layman Brewster's career. It's a boxing career ending injury. And it's probably just time. I mean, Manny's the type of guy, he's a warrior. He would have fought forever. You know what I'm saying? He'd have fought forever, and if nothing stopped him.
If nothing stopped, he's the type of guy to keep going. That's why I think, like, as sad as they may be, sometimes these little injuries, they happen in life. Like these little things called fate, they happen to kind of stop a guy. But like you say, man, let's see, what if he did get the surgery? Sugar Ray Leonard, Julian Jackson, and Layman Brewster, they all had the surgery, but they never come back the same. Remember, Layman Brewster used to be a monster.
Yeah.
But when he came back,
it wasn't the same.
And then Julian Jackson, whenever I saw some of his fights when they said after the surgery he came back, still had the power, but that go get him was kind of gone. That go get him with your vision is kind of gone. So go get him is kind of all Manny knows. When he's in there.
Absolutely.
And that's a big part of his style. So I think him having this happen now, whether it is just scratch, it might be time to hang it up.
Might be time, man.
Because imagine what's going to happen to the hard hitters, Bud, Thurman, Spence. You think these guys that's coming to get a check off of Manny?
Yeah, I mean, and you're 40 years old, and then you add kind of a bad vision or bad eyes. Just not going to be a good look.
Yeah, because these guys, they ain't coming for the check. They coming to finish you. They want to win, too.
The people, you just keep hearing to retire. We want to retire, Manny. That's the phrase I keep hearing. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is the thing, a fighter has to be smart enough to realize these things. This probably is a wake-up call for Manny, because it can only get worse after this, You're 40. Like I say, you got this eye surgery thing going on, and there's nothing but young lions around. You could really come out and really get yourself hurt. And nobody really wants to see that. So hopefully, he just sits down and figure things out, and hopefully this is something he can do. I don't know if he is in the position to not fight again. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
Financially,
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean.
Financially, yeah. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, he might need a couple more fights. I don't know.
Dang, that would kind of suck, too, because, if the retina was, if it is more damage to it and he needs more fights, that puts him kind of in that rock and a hard place, man. So I was just hoping that maybe he could have got what he needed off of this fight, but we never know, what fight.
Yeah, and then this fight, he said he was donating all the proceeds to the to the Philippines. I don't know how true that was or whatever, but I mean, I don't know. That's what he said.
You gotta put somewhere in yourself, man.
Yeah.
You gotta get something for yourself.
And he's a giving person. Like they say, people. We wouldn't be surprised if we saw Manny broke because he's so giving. I would never want to see him broke or giving person like that. Giving from the heart. But it happens. It happens.
It happens. And, for me personally, like if I know a guy is going through this and putting himself through this and going to war. Putting his body through this, there's got to be a point where I say, I don't need nothing from you, just to be real, just to be like, I know there's a lot of people that do need help.
That's what I'm about to say.
But I mean, what's it going to mean whenever you put yourself in that situation?
But think, he's surrounded by people with their hands out, Aunt.
Yeah.
He's surrounded by not necessarily Philippine people, but managers, promoters, lawyers. Yeah. All the stuff that surrounds a fighter, and everybody wants something from Manny Pacquiao, when he don't have it, they'll be gone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a unfortunate situation.
Yeah, definitely, because it's the same thing with Mike. A
bunch of leeches.
Yeah, a bunch of leeches. Because sometimes the people on the outer circle, you might give them a little something, they be happy, but the ones that are closer to you, they milking you, just like Mike.
And some of them are milking you and you don't even know.
And you don't know.
They the accountant, they the lawyer, they this person, they that person, and they doing this behind, you know what I mean? So, hopefully we don't see Manny wind up in that situation, because regardless how you feel about him, Manny always been a respectful guy, humble guy.
Give you the fights you want.
Yeah, he definitely gave us some of the most entertaining fights, in this last decade or so, or whatever. So, but I would never want to see him in a bad situation like that, because he gave his life to the sport.
Yeah, he did.
You know what I'm saying?
Every year. Every year, man. We never heard Manny turn down a fight. He fought whoever, whenever, whatever weight class. You know what I'm saying? Shoot, dude.
So.
Yeah, man. That's why I say take my hat off to him, man. And I just want to see him be able to make it out with his vision, with his everything intact. So, if need be, if there is damage, I just hope he can leave the sport. Yeah,
I mean, man, he got like staircase children, man. He need to be there for them kids. You know what I'm saying? I ain't realized he been spitting them bad boys out. You know what I mean?
Down the circle,
yeah. So you got a family. You got Jinky, who's been in your corner since day one. You have a lot going on outside of boxing too, and I just hope he can recognize that. And
she was one of the ones too that said, she wanted to see him maybe fight one more time after this and retire, but this was before the eye surgery. The damage eye surgery. We don't know now that this damage. She probably gonna try to talk him out of.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Jinky has been wanting him to stop fighting.
Yeah,
I mean, why they showed her a couple times in the Adrien Broner fight. He was beating Adrien Broner up, and she was like, "Word, So I know that she's beyond all this shit. Man, this is something he wants to do. She's supporting him, being his wife. She probably can't talk him out of it at this point, but I know she been tired of him fighting.
Oh yeah, she
probably since that knockout, that Marquez knockout. Probably like,
that was
I'm
a
done.
Scary moment.
I'm done. Yeah.
So it's definitely time for, like, even Jim Gray asked him, are you going to run for president? Go ahead and do that, man. Do that. Klitschko, he ran for, senator in his country.
Right.
So, go ahead and do it. Take the chance now. I mean, you can't be boxing forever.
You can't do it forever.
You can't box forever.
But that's the dog in him, though, Aunt. That's that dog in him. I mean,
it's time to neuter that dog.
It is. Because as much as he smile and laugh and has a pleasant demeanor, he got that pit bull in his ass, too. You know what I mean? And it must be hard to turn off. You know what I mean?
So. I think it is, man. It's the lights and everything, and being challenged. Being challenged like that. So, just imagine when Canelo get to that level. We'll see how he do with it.
Yeah, I mean, shit.
Because he a little fighter too. So
he is.
Yeah, he a diva, but he a fighter too.
I'd be curious to see if these younger fighters hang around like that, though, Aunt. In their 40s. I mean, some of these guys are doing it because they have to.
As hell, so I don't see it's kind of hard to see him hanging in.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to realize the younger guys getting bigger checks earlier and better investments, better. It's just they set up better. You know, they might not have to fight till their 40s and how some of these guys are doing.
True.
That's my, take on it.
Yeah, that's true, man. Hell yeah. You think about it like that, yeah.
You know, think about B-Hop. B-Hop fought so long because he really just started getting those big paydays.
Yeah, because when you think about his early career, he was grinding.
He wasn't getting nothing.
Yeah, he was just getting that taste.
Getting that taste at the end.
Makes sense, man. But, yeah, man, good fight overall. You know, I think the future for both of them is kind of up in the air, really. Yeah. You know, I think it is. But for me, I don't want to see either one of them in the ring anymore.
I mean,
sad as that may be for AB.
Exactly. I want to see him, Floyd, or Manny in the ring really again right now, necessarily, man. I definitely do not want to see part 2 of that fight that they might be trying to cook up.
Yeah, I don't need to do that, man. Did you see the little Instagram where they said he was stalking Floyd?
Yeah, when he walked up to him.
Floyd looked back.
Yeah, but you see when Jim Gray, well, Floyd, just give me a nod.
Floyd was like, I ain't giving you nothing.
I said, that's my boy right there.
Exactly.
He just stood there stone face. I said, that's my boy right there.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, yeah, don't give him nothing.
That's my boy.
Don't smile or nothing. He said, we got the big cam on you, Floyd. Floyd was like,
act like it wasn't enough for the he didn't hear. He had earbuds in. Just nod your head. Just nod if you're going. I said, that's my man.
Yeah. Shoot. But yeah, man, jumping over to this next topic, we got the return of another welterweight, Keith Runtime, they call him. No, his name is Keith One Fight. No, it's Keith One Time Thurman. He making his comeback against Josesito Lopez. As you know, Keith Thurman, he been out of the ring for, damn, man, when you think about it, March will make 2 years.
Dang.
So 22 months. He been out for almost 2 years since the Danny Garcia fight. And, he had a couple injuries since then, and there's some other things going on. The elbow surgery after the Danny Garcia fight, and right when that was about to heal, the right hand got hurt in training. So, he had to have that monitored, he said. So, yeah, he was out for double injuries, but since then, the elbow's been coming back. He's been getting back into sparring and training, and they finally settle for a date in December to come back, but they had to push the fight back again because of the hand. So January was a legit date. So now we got him coming back this Saturday against Josesito Lopez. Lopez, like I said, I was telling you earlier, he's a fan of following his style and everything. But over the past few years, he only been fighting like once a year. Yeah. He ain't really been fighting on that level. Like the Canelo fight, Victor Ortiz, Maidana. I think a lot of people remember his last fight getting stopped against Adrien Broner. But, I think this is an okay fight for Thurman to kind of make his return just to see where he's at. But as far as, Thurman coming back in this fight, what do you think, man? Do you really think he's looking to make that big statement or just kind of get rounds to kind of, like he always say, I'm trying to test the elbow out or see where I'm at?
To be honest, it's kind of hard to say because it's not like we see training footage of Keith Thurman. We're seeing more footage of him, but it's not like we see him actually doing things. Working a heavy bag. I just hope he's not one of those injury-prone fighters that it's just one thing after another. I would hope that he's trying to make a statement with this fight because, if he's healthy, I think he's a big player at 147. And he has to know that. You know what I mean? He has to know that 100% Keith Thurman, I can mix it up with anybody at 147, but is he 100%? Is he fully healthy? I think he got a lot of pressure applied to him and maybe came back, and I don't know if that's 100% what he really wanted.
Right, okay. Let me rephrase that question, too, about him looking to get rounds and make a statement. Can he come back just to get rounds, even though this is a first fight? Or does he have to make a statement?
I mean, I would think he needs to make a statement because...
Injury or not, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, definitely, you know, with double injuries, you know, so he has to go in there and make a statement.
Yeah, he needs to make a statement because it's nothing but, like, legit, solid fights at 147, you know what I mean? So getting the rounds in is not really going. What people need to see from him is making a statement right now, and you know they need to say, okay, he's back. You know what I'm saying? Getting the rounds in, you're gonna have people questioning a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? If you come in and put on a dominant performance, get a nice stoppage, it's definitely gonna raise your stock and make people say, oh, he's back. He is back. You know what I mean? It would be better to come back that way. You know what I mean? I hope he's not just trying to get rounds because we not really. You get rounds in Spawn. We really not trying to see him get rounds. We've been out the ring for 2 years. We want to see what we were used to seeing. You know what I mean? From you, Keith Thurman. Why we put you up on a pedestal that you know we had you on.
Because I'm just trying to look at a fighter's point of view. I ain't trying to be difficult, but like. For a fighter like Keith Thurman, do you think if he tried to come and get rounds, you think he would just be trying to test out his injuries, make sure he don't get hurt, or do you think he's feeling like, let's say if he did just get rounds instead of getting a quick knockout, he wouldn't want to try to get that false confidence, say if he went in there and made easy work real quick?
But, I mean, the thing is, how healthy is he really? You know, I mean, of course, they're not going to divulge everything. So, if he came in and got rounds, it might lead me to believe that he's testing stuff out. He ain't 100% about the elbow, the hand. He wants to be sure.
Because as fans, we want to say you 100%.
You're coming back.
Right.
We think you're 100%. You know, like I say, if you want to get rounds, do that in sparring. You know, when you say you come back for a fight, we want to see you perform. You know what I mean? That's my personal view on it, and I understand what you're saying. It's just hard to really get inside his head because really Keith Thurman, we don't know what's in his head. You know, like I say, he say he's healthy, but we don't know. You were a healthy fighter, then you went through a spell of injury after injury. What were you doing different to get all these injuries? Right. You weren't fighting.
Right. Is your bone just deteriorating?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's a lot of things that, you know, make you really wonder what's going on with him. You know what I mean?
I mean, for Thurman and his team, you know, he has a good trainer, you know, Dan Birmingham, you know, Winky Wright's trainer. So I'm thinking, like, maybe on the low, maybe when he's hurt, they should be trying to adjust to a style that can work for him because, you know, the fight game goes on.
I mean, that's what he has to do, man.
Because like, what did Floyd do? Floyd had both brittle hands, you know.
Figure it out.
You never saw him take 2-3 years off in the game. He was still He was still figuring some style out for these hands, you know. So I'm thinking like with Keith Thurman, like people are only going to want to hear the elbow or the hand injury so much, you know. They're going to want to see you come to the ring and perform, you know, anytime. You know, they don't want to always hear you got to take this time off. You got to do this. You got to get this right.
No, not from the young boys. The young boys, y'all supposed to be ready to fight in the drop of a dime. I mean, you got the old guys coming out. You got Manny, 40. You know what I mean? You got old guys coming out. Y'all in y'all 20s. Y'all can't come out.
They said Manny had a cold in there.
Yeah, he had the flu.
Yeah, he was sick. Yeah, and then Winky Wright actually was sick once in his fights that he won. You know, he had the flu. So
I mean, it just goes back to the thing that no fighter is ever 100%. It's always something going on. You know, now Keith Thurman, I mean, maybe it's more than the normal going on with him. I don't know, but you know, he just went through a time where he was plagued with injuries, and we wondering why you wasn't fighting. I mean, how were you messing up all this stuff? Your elbow to your hand to this to that. I mean, were you in training, going extra hard? What's happening? How these injuries occurring and why are they occurring? They never happened the first part of your career. You were active. You were in there knocking guys out. You know what happened?
I know what happened.
What happened? That
somebody won that IBF belt.
Oh, the IBF, it did all that, man? God. Dog.
Somebody beat somebody in the UK for the IBF belt,
and that was it.
And that was it.
Wow.
I mean, that's what some people say. I mean, all roads kind of point to it in some way. You know, I ain't trying to speak on the casual fans' perspective. I'm speaking from my perspective, where it seems like if you know dangers ahead, you might feel like I got to take a step back and look at another way to attack it. You know what I mean? Mm. You know, sometimes if your road is already paved, you know what you're going to do. But if another bump comes ahead, you got to back it up and can't approach it the same way, you know. But this is the fight game.
Yeah, this is a fight game. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to think.
I'm just putting myself in his head.
Yeah, because I'm following it, but I'm thinking, we're in the fight game. You can't back out and you're a champion. What are you know, but, I mean, we're taking what he gives us. Yeah. That's all we can do.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. Like, I'm just kind of reading what he's doing now and just saying, okay, maybe he feels like this Errol Spence road might be a little harder than I think, you know. But as fighters, you got to take that. You know, you got to take it, man. Like, nobody ever said it was going to be easy, you know.
I mean, you can't guarantee you're going to get a fight that you feel comfortable with all the time. I mean, that's not what it's about, Ant. You know what I mean? That's not what it's about. You know what I mean? It's about, at some point, having to test yourself against another person who thinks they're the best.
Do you think, man, like, Spence really puts that type of danger in people's minds? But, I mean, like, when I used to see Keith Thurman and Sean Porter before they fought, I thought that was going to be a good matchup. And I thought that Sean Porter was really going to give Keith Thurman a hard fight, which he did, man. But, like, do you see Errol Spence giving him more of hell than Sean Porter did?
I don't, man.
Really?
I did, because to me, I mean, Errol Spence, I like him, but only thing he brings is the power. I haven't seen him do nothing else but lob power shots. You know what I'm saying? I need to see more from him too. You know what I mean? I think a guy who can really box and has a little bit of power is going to present some problems for Errol Spence. A guy who's not standing in front of him, and when he throws, something hard is coming back, presents a problem for Errol Spence, I think. You know what I mean? I mean, right now, he's like bullying, walking guys down. They already scared before they get in the ring with him, you know. And I think it's that laid back demeanor, because the dude don't ever get rid of
that's a good part of his game too. You know what I mean?
He always come. Oh, I'm gonna get him. He ain't loud. He ain't. But that could be a little intimidating. That the person is that confident in his. I don't gotta go up no octave. I don't gotta raise my voice. I ain't gotta do nothing. I'm gonna get him. You know what I'm saying? He just.
But yeah, I say, but then that's kind of like, you know, the game changer, because, you know, Mike Tyson, like, there are guys I felt like could have beat him in the past with their boxing skill, but his one thing was the power. That was their game changer every time. So
and the mental
like
thing,
Spence, like,
people being defeated before they step in the ring with him too.
Like Errol Spence,
Errol Spence, same thing.
They get in there, he don't have to show it sometimes, because they ain't gonna do anything else. You know what I mean? They're gonna crumble at the feel of one punch, and I think that's going into the mind of some of these guys, you know?
Exactly. The same Mike Tyson thing. I mean, psychological warfare. Guys defeated before punches even thrown. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, but the thing is ways to nullify power. Power's only effective if it lands. Yeah. If it ain't landing, then, I mean, I can't see that making a boxer who's trained, who knows how to slip punches, who knows all the fundamentals of boxing, really being intimidated by power, because power is not the end all be all in boxing.
Definitely not.
We seen so many people with power get nullified.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the beautiful thing about boxing. I mean, the guy, he can have the power to punch a hole in the wall, but this feather fisted guy just boxed him into an oblivion.
I think, you know, definitely like IQ and strength will nullify power all day. It nullifies it all day. Yeah, going back real quick. Yeah, I think Sean Porter was, like I said, gave Keith Thurman hell like I felt, but I think Errol Spence really could hurt him, man.
Really could hurt
Keith Thurman.
I mean,
because when I look at Styles making fights, I feel like he's going to apply that pressure, almost like Manny, not as far as the speed, but where he's in his face, where he can get off hard shots, not smothering himself so much, where he's like wrestling and dogging you. He's just going to be at that range where he can always kind of, you know, back him up. And if Thurman ain't on his mental, of course that's gonna make him crumble. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying. So you don't think that his ring IQ would be smart enough to stay out of Earl Spence's, striking distance? I mean, you're not just gonna sit in the pocket where he touching you all day. That's what you would think, but it's possible. I mean, I don't know.
Because all day, I feel like Keith Thurman, he's more of a thinking fighter, and I think he's definitely proven more than Spence. But since he's left, and since he's kind of shown that reluctance to engage, in a fight this early,
something
that mental nullifies your gifts. It's definitely gonna nullify that.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree with that.
Yeah,
I can agree with that because you're not going to perform to the top level if you're not comfortable.
If you ain't exactly, you got to be comfortable.
You're not comfortable, and that goes with any fighter. You know what I'm saying? Coming into a fight being uncomfortable, every fighter can't fight uncomfortable. I think some fighters do have the ability to probably perform well under pressure and being uncomfortable, but a lot of guys, it causes problems for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It causes a problem for him. I mean, Keith Thurman, that fight, I think I would see Keith Thurman moving a lot and being on the bike a lot, but I mean, Earl Spence could cut the ring off, and like you say, I mean, Earl Spence, anybody he touches, he could hurt. 147. So I don't know, man. They just got to make it happen. That's the thing. That's why we have to see this stuff happen at 147. We could sit and do the math and trade all types of different boxing scenarios or whatever, but we really need to see these fights happen, and that's the only way we really get a number one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because still, the fight still gives me chills and makes me want to see it, because it's just I still feel like Spence has got something. He needs to show it. He needs that right opponent to show
Bring
it.
it out of him.
He's got these stories too. The AB story. The Floyd sparring story. So he has something nice to kind of ride on. Like this dude here, he was, supposedly hurting these guys in sparring versus, this big talker and Keith Thurman. The guy that's supposed to be the better boxer. So I think it's just going to be that type of matchup. But.
And me honestly speaking, I really think Earl Spence's biggest challenges and best fights are going to be at 154, maybe 160. 147 is just, he's too big, and I really don't see anybody dominate him. Mikey Garcia, he may outpoint him, but he's not going to dominate him. Not gonna dominate him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the only thing they can go in their mind frame of thinking of.
Yeah, the fight that keeps bouncing in my head is Earl Spence and Canelo.
Really?
Yeah, that just, I mean, as we're talking, that's just playing in my head. Those guys just seem more.
I think he have to kind of grow into it.
Yeah, I mean, down the road, not immediately, but down the road.
I still think he's a fair 147 just because, it's like Felix Trinidad. Felix Trinidad, he was 5'11". He's 3 inches taller than Errol Spence, but he could always make welterweight. Amir Khan, he makes welterweight. He looks big in his days off, but when he cuts down the weight, he is giving up that weight too. So I think that it's still kind of breaking even for him right now. But I think as he gets older, he'll fill out more to the point where he can't do it. Kind of like De La Hoya and Trinidad when they had to move up to 154 and 160, because there was a point when you would see them walking around and say, why are they fighting at welterweight? But when they get down to the weight, they look good,
I just feel like any guy that's walking around at 180 shouldn't be fighting at 147 in any combat sport.
That's how I'm thinking.
But some people, and what they say is he performs well at 147, so if it's working for him, I mean, what can you do if it's working for you? But I just don't think it's a healthy weight cut. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for me, in the beginning, when I used to hear about guys walking around 180, coming down to 170, Ricky Hatton and them was coming
down to 140.
140. Yeah. When he was junior welterweight in the beginning, I was always like, why are they doing this? I was always like, why are they coming down this far when you ain't too far from 160? but we never know the reason. You know, it might be a strength thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the same thing with, to me, T.J. Dillashaw going down to win another, to become the champ. You got to go up to be the champ, man.
Yeah.
You can't go down to be the champ.
Nah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
You go down, you go.
You going down. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you walk around 180 and you're going down. I mean, yeah, if you're going down to 160, you walk around 180 and you fight the middleweight, I get it. You know what I'm saying? But I just think that that's a big weight cut. But we'll see, man. We'll see. All we can do is wait for the landscape to play out, You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hope that it plays out. That's my thing, If he can't get nobody at 147 to fight him, then why in the hell are you going to stay at 147? You know what I mean?
He has, made it vocal that 154 would be in his. And
I think they would be the more competitive fights for him, bigger, fast, guys with bigger guys with skills. I mean, even the small guy with skills. I mean, Earl Spence with a little bit of skills and power. I mean, he really, he wins that. You know what I mean? He really wins that. So we'll see, man. It's just a lot of things up in the air right now, and with a lot of divisions.
Yeah. That's
what I'm saying?
Going back to Thurman, this fight here is going to, really tell us how ready is he? You know what I mean? How ready is he? Like, we really got to see after this fight, is he going to want to come back in the summer? Is he going to want to come back at the end of the year? You know what I mean? Or, like, who is he going to fight? Because, like, Josesito Lopez, like I said, a few years ago, maybe like 6 years ago, like I said, I felt like he was a promising guy.
It was different, yeah.
He was this boxer. He gave Canelo trouble in that fight. And that was the one thing about Josesito Lopez when I saw that fight, was like he had the skill to beat Canelo that night, because there were rounds where he was kind of winning, but he couldn't get to that adjustment like Floyd or a Terrence Crawford, where if every shot Canelo's hitting you with is hurting, it's time to move.
Yeah, I mean, Canelo was a lot bigger than him in that fight too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
He was scoring him, but like there were times when there was like, if he gonna hurt you, you got to be able to slip them punches.
Yeah, you can't sit there and eat that crap. Yeah, definitely.
So definitely, like over the years, like I feel like he's kind of declined a little bit, especially with fighting once a year.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it makes you think Keith Thurman is coming back like with one of the softest legitimate touches that he could really find. I mean, a guy like Jesse Vargas, who was just in there with Broner, I mean, that would have been perfect. That was a fight. Maybe something that we can say, well, damn, he wasn't there just with Broner. That was a close fight. Some people thought, you know what I mean? But
that was on the table.
It was on the table. I remember.
Yeah, so I was like, that's the guy he needs to be, because you don't really want to go below a B even after an injury, because you want to be able to be tested by a B. A B is still going to give you a good test to say, is this guy going to hurt me enough, to make me go back and think? But if you go below a C, or if you go with a C, you're going to be like, oh, that felt good. I could do anything. And
think, him not wanting to fight a guy like, who was we just saying that?
Jesse Vargas?
Yeah, Jesse Vargas. I mean, that ain't the most dangerous fight.
Nah.
You know what I mean? That's not the most dangerous fight.
No disrespect. If you claim to be one-time Thurman, this is supposed to be you.
You said no to that one and try to find something, So, like I said.
So, good test or good tune-up for him or not? What do you think?
On paper, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like you say, Jose. Hopefully he shows up and Keith Thurman. I mean, I want it to be a test, and I want it to be a test.
Yeah, I want Jose to.
I want him to get up for this. I want it to be a test, but I just had to really see. It's a lot to really guess on, because Keith Thurman been out for almost 2 years. It's just a lot.
I just keep thinking, man, like 2 years off, man, you still a young guy anyway. You should be able to come back again.
Right back, yeah. You should be able to. You should be able to go right back.
It ain't like,
we seen Floyd take 2 years off at 30-something and come back, and people be like, oh, he ain't miss a beat. The Marquez fight, they said he fought a perfect fight. The shutout. He was a smaller guy, but still a shutout against a Hall of Fame, a legend. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but you making a return against, somebody that you know deep down you don't feel like he's gonna be a threat. Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like I ain't trying. Like
That's
I said,
why he
like,
doing it, Ant. That's why he doing it.
Yeah. You do need some type of threat.
Yeah.
You know, injuries. Like okay, you need some type of threat.
Yeah, because I mean, when you left, you were on top, dude. You know, what I mean, it wasn't like you started slipping. You was kind of on top when you left, and
that's what people see you as.
You know, you good as your last fight. So we remember you leaving. You know, kind of being up there. Now you know ready to slide down the pole. I mean,
you ain't no stripper. Don't be sliding down the pole.
and think about the danger of it. And if you go in there and Jose make you look bad, then we like, yo, I mean, it's done. You don't stand a chance.
Exactly, man. That's what he needs to really think about, man. But as far as a prediction, man, what do you think? Do you think, like I said, do you think he's going to try to go for a decision or go for a knockout?
Man, I'm going to give this kid the benefit of the doubt as hard as I was on him because of what he did maybe a year ago. And I say it goes a distance. You know what I'm saying? I say, you know, I give it to Keith Thurman, but, you know, unanimous decision or whatever. But I would love to see something better than that.
Yeah.
You know, more decisive than that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, I'm gonna go with the decision too, but I won't accept nothing less than a TKO. You know, like I'm expecting him to stop him.
Okay.
You know, Adrien Broner, he was able to stop him. You know, a few years ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're on that level, as far as your power, you keep saying your power. Even in training, I was looking on his Instagram. He said his power is one of his best attributes to him. You know, so I want to see it. You know, elbow injury or not, I want to see it. So
is he saying his power is back 100%, or he's just saying that's?
Yeah, he was saying. You know, I give him credit too. He looking on weight already. You seen him?
Yeah, I seen him looking clean and
because on the press conference back in
he's a little chubby.
He was chubby.
Yeah, little cheeks.
Yeah, but now he's back to his fighting weight, looking like. So I'm like, hey, come to perform, make the statement. But you know, on the safe side, I don't know. He might be feeling like I need these rounds. You know, you know, which is that mind frame he might be in. You know.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing about it, it's nothing wrong with that. But as fight fans, we don't really want to see you getting rounds. Because to me, like I keep saying, getting rounds is something you do behind the scene. You know what I mean? I know. We know what we mean when we say getting rounds.
Prospects and like
that's
young
different.
guys. Rounds. Yeah.
But we know you beyond getting rounds.
Yeah, you supposed to be making easy work.
Yeah.
You know
So that's where I'm at, and exactly that's what I'm trying to say.
I got you. Yeah. So yeah, I'm going with that, man. I'm going with decision, but if you don't stop him, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Man,
I'm hard on Keith, man. Now you know, remember I was a fan.
I mean, I know.
That's why I'm hard on him, though, man. But just so you don't forget, too, man. The Zone got some fights coming up too, man. Let me peep them dates again, man. Cause let's see who we got. January 26th. Your man Jaime Munguia on the Zone, man. So. You got the app, right? Did you finally get the app?
I did.
Okay. Yeah, you check that out. He fighting that Takeshi Inko. So,
I see some Asian dude or whatever.
Yeah, so, he still got his belt at 154, man. So he doing things, man. And, like, they talked to him. He said, what did he say? He said, forget Charlo or something like that. I want to fight Hurd, you know, so. Or he said he'll fight either one. So, and, you know, Hurd said, let me get one of these, Charlo or whoever. I'll fight him. So, that's real, man.
That's what we want. That's what we talking about right there. That's what we
and I feel like Munguia, he's still that work in progress, but he doing that work on the job, and that's
on the job.
I like to just see, like, keep getting it any way you can. Just keep staying in it.
I mean, and think about it too, man. I mean, he's still a work in progress, but so is Charlo. You know what I'm saying? He's not where he's going to go. I mean, Hurd, he's probably going to get better, you know, as he goes on. So, I mean, those guys, I do think they're a little bit more advanced than Munguia, but not too much. Not too much. All I'm a work in progress. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it ain't to the point where they were like at another era. You know,
exactly.
they in the same era where you know, if one guy slips up, he could definitely
He
lose.
could get him.
He
Yeah.
could definitely get him. They ain't that far behind. Hell no. So Charlo, he might need to get that fight in the meantime. So.
Would he take something like that? I don't know. You couldn't get past,
Harrison.
I mean, you know, some people thought it was a robbery, but to me, that was a fight you should have went and knocked him out like Jared Hurd did, and we wouldn't be in this situation.
Hey, that's the truth, man. Shoot, yeah, you make that statement, we could have been moving on.
We could have been moving on.
For real. But, yeah, man, we got the weekend of fights coming up, you know, again. Gerald Washington, he's on the Keith Thurman undercard, too. You know, he's coming back. So, all in all, man, yeah, I'm just ready to see Keith Thurman do this and move on from this fight and say, who's next, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Of course, I think Sean Porter's probably going to be next, you know. I think Sean Porter, you know, he's so big on getting that green belt back and not that red belt, you know, so... Yeah, man. But before we wrap this thing up, was there anything else you wanted to say, man?
No, man. Just like you said, man. I was on a bad thing with Keith Thurman, but you know, after I sat back and really realized and kind of missed him from being in the game, I realized that you know he does play an intricate part at 147. He's one of the players at 147, and I was looking forward to him coming back to see. You know, where he stands amongst the top guys at 147. So I'm looking forward to this fight and looking forward to seeing the landscape of the welterweight division at 2019.
Yeah, same here, man. For me, like, I ain't no troll or nothing like that. I just think of it as corner talk and like competition talk. I'm like, you here, prove it. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm gonna trash talk you all day. You know, if you prove it, you shut me up. You know,
right?
Like, I ain't tearing you down.
Right.
Know?
It's kind of it's motivational talk, man.
Yeah.
We want to see guys live up to their potential. That's all. We not bashing nobody, and when we can look at a guy and see you got skills and talent, and you're not really living up to them or fulfilling that, then I mean, yeah, we had something to say.
All day. Yeah, man, all day. I was gonna say we call it down the middle, man. But I don't want to hold you up, people, man. I got another question for you. Just popped in my head, man. I'll hold you up real quick convo here. If you could sign any type of fighter, man, what type of style would you want to sign? Like, or train? What type of style would you want to train? If you could train any type of fighter, what weight and what weight and what style?
Me, real quick, and just off the top of my head, me being a smaller guy, I wouldn't really want to necessarily be in there with a heavyweight. To me, Tank is ideal. Smaller guy, power, aggressive. I would love to work the mitts or just be in the gym with him and really feel that power and really feel that Baltimore aggression, being channeled into boxing. Me personally, just off the head real quick, and that's a deep question, but, that's just something I took off the surface,
Okay, it's something we can revisit again, man. But I think I just thought of that. But me off top, I would say probably somebody at junior middleweight. I don't know, man.
Junior middleweight.
I think because a lot of my favorite fighters were junior middleweight. Like Terry Norris and Julian Jack, Mike McCallum. But I think it would have to be like not necessarily like a power punch. I just like strong fighters. Guys that have like boxer strength. Yeah. Not necessarily muscular or anything like that, but just guys who can really hold their own and hold their ground,
Yeah.
Guys that can really like push you and hit you with shots that make you respect them, you know. You ain't even got to have the power to knock somebody out, just make you respect them, I think that's the type of style I would.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like what I spun into. I'm just like thinking about training somebody. If I'm working the mitts for somebody, after I'm done, I want to know I was holding the mitts. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. Yeah. That's my mindset real quick off the top end. But like I said, that is a deep question. Not, like you just said, 154, that was my favorite division. I didn't even get that far with thinking that,
my fault.
I'm just saying like 160 is probably like my favorite division. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But I mean, you just threw me that kind of deep question. I mean, it's deep for me. You know what I'm saying? Because I got to analyze. But like just right off the top of the head, I mean, I would love to just see a little small guy like Tank and just see with this small body, you know,
What kind
that
of
power.
what
Yeah,
kind of
well, yeah,
power
I
he
want
be
to see that.
packing
Yeah,
in.
you know, that's just off the top, and it ain't really, you know, a Baltimore thing. It's just off the top. Just he was in my head or whatever. But that's a good question, though, man.
Oh no, that's real though. Like Tank, you know, he's somebody like raw talent to work with. You know, actually molding him and actually, like you're saying, you get to feel that power, that real power. You know,
From a little guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know? I damn sure ain't gonna train no cruiserweight. I don't want to leave with my hand.
That's what
like
I'm saying.
This.
That's why I say I'm a little guy, and I ain't trying to be in there with no hands.
Crack ribs from wearing the body armor and stuff. But yeah, man. That was just some little question I asked you. I mean, we can go back and talk about it because it's just something deep, you know.
Yeah, it's a good question.
Because you know, like I said, boxing. You know, we love to talk it, man. So, but
ain't no quick questions. Ain't no quick boxing questions with us, and you know that, man. But
there's not.
Because we can break down the smallest thing. Well, he farted last night before he ate. So, you know, we can break it down now. We can break it down.
You're right, man. But, yeah, man, before we wrap this up, like we always say, just shout out to everybody, you know, that's been following us.
For sure.
And, you know, before we go, you know, we want to, you know, put a drop on y'all, let y'all know about our social media. You know, we growing.
Yeah.
You know, we still, you know, we've been growing behind the scenes and trying to do our thing. You know, Jab Effect, it's not just one entity, you know.
Yeah.
There's many things going on there.
Absolutely.
So, you know, before we go, you know, let them know where they can follow you at, P.
You know, everybody, of course, y'all can, you know, check us on the Jab Effect, you know, for the collaboration. That's both, you know, a meeting of the minds, me and Combo Breaker 99. But, you know, you can also check me out on at P Barnhill on Instagram. That's more just my personal thing. I do have some boxing stuff up there, but you can check me out at Loud Pat Boxing on Instagram, and that's just concentrated boxing P. You know, where I'm from, how I grew up, how I interpret and come up with some of my perspectives on the fight game and music and a couple other different things. But definitely check us out on, you know, all our, you know, different platforms. We like the Wu-Tang, y'all. We one group, but, you know, we got other stuff going on too. I'm
Ghostface.
You Ghostface. I'll be Ray. I'm cool with that, you know.
That's Ragu, right? That's
you know what I'm saying? So, but that's it, yeah. That's it, man. We like Ann said, we growing and we trying to expand, and we trying to reach, you know, different pockets of people. And we have, I mean, like I tell Ann, I got a lot going on in my head, and like he does, and it's not just one thing, y'all. I mean, you know, there's a lot of different things going on. So that pique our interest anyway. So like I say, check us out on different platforms I just named, and just support us and ride with us, y'all.
Yeah, for real, man. And for me, man, you know, y'all can follow me at Combo Breaker 99 on Instagram and on YouTube. You know, if y'all want to know more about like women's MMA, you know, I go in a little bit more about different, you know, discussions on some, you know, just some things about boxing as far as, you know, quick thoughts on different moves fighters are making, whether it is in women's MMA, you know, or just boxing. So yeah, you can follow me there on Instagram at Combo Breaker 99, and you know, I'm gonna hit y'all with the all boxing everything. I think too, you know, you know, see how that go. Maybe I'll start putting out more, you know, boxing photos. You know, when we go hit the scene, you know, start putting out a little bit more photos. See us, you know, y'all can see us out there with everybody from Mike Jr. to, you know, Dangerous Donnie Marshall. You know,
yeah, man.
So yeah, man, yeah, it's going down. Just letting y'all know, but make sure y'all follow us on, you know, on Voltron. Yeah, this is Voltron right here, you know. Go to iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, Stitcher, and Spotify at, you know, #Jab Podcast. Go to jabeffect.com, man. But yeah, that's all I got, P.
That's it, man.
But yeah, before I bounce, my name is Combo Breaker 99.
It's your boy Boxing P, y'all.
And we out.
Later.
Peace.